I'm going to go to the other end maybe and ask you about the top team dynamics. In our research of top growth companies, they have growth mindsets and behaviors that differentiate them. They focus on the long term, through cycle. They are audacious about growth. They rally a dream team for growth. They do have customer at the center, and they have real disciplined execution. And yet, they all want those mindsets, but so frequently, the behaviors don't match. Investments get to the short term. The talent gets focused on the near term, biggest ones, rather than the bold bets for the long. How have you been able to get both the mindsets and the behaviors of your top team to deliver that great growth story that you've had?
It's a very good question. It's a very difficult question. So if you haven't read the book, I would suggest picking up the book Innovator's Dilemma, Clayton Christensen. And so it essentially explains this cycle wonderfully, where an organization achieves success in a certain field or a certain type of product. And they end up creating the support network around it in a manner that the value chain is fully integrated in only supporting that particular line of business or product. And so when an innovative idea comes along and it requires investment or tolerating shitty margins for 10 years or longer, they essentially compare that to the existing business and say, oh crap, like this doesn't work. And so I think staying away from or trying to stay away from that, it's part mentality, part readiness. I'll talk to kind of the readiness next, I guess. So that's one. Number two, I think I said we are competitive, but we also constantly live in the fear of being picked off or killed. You have to when you're dealing with stalwarts of the world around us. So, innovation, speed of innovation just is extremely important to be able to anticipate and create the next thing before. So I guess I'm going back to culture in this particular case.
Yep.
The third one is, it is hard being a public company. It's easier when you're private.
Right.
You can do things when you're private, not illegal things. You can do legal things when you're private. Right? Just to clarify, right? You can be more nimble. You can cut out the dog and pony show, right? Presenting to boards and doing road shows and shareholders and sort of aligning these conversations with because you've taken shareholder money as a public company, right? And so you have many kind of audiences to support. So I'll say two things. One, it is important to choose the shareholders. And so this notion of you will get the shareholders you deserve is the right one. If you are after short-term money, you will get short-term money, but then at that particular time, you are running the company on a quarterly basis. If you want to run the company on a long-term basis, get long-term money, right? Or get an investor or a series of investors. This could be actually true for private also. Get a series of investors that believe in the mission and are committed, right, over the long term. And have them earn their trust. So trust, but verify, right? We trust in God, but we lock our car, right? Kind of the same thing. So trust, but verify. And so I think that's the third thing. We've been fortunate to have a really good sponsor, in the private equity team that works with Chewy. But at the same time, we've been very clear about what our priorities are, how long-term our goals are, when the returns are going to be generated. And then another thing, operating autonomy and earned trust are two sides of the same coin, right? If you say to your investors, trust me, and they give you the money and you don't operate, you're out.
Yeah, that's the execution part.
Right? So the more trust you earn, the more operating autonomy you enjoy. And the more credibility you build, at that particular time, your shareholders are completely alongside you, right? So it starts from shareholder value, customer value, team member value kind of aligning, and it ends with delivering those together. I think so.
All right, we're approaching the top of the hour. We're going to have a few questions. So last quick question. What is your leadership style? How would you describe it and how it has evolved over the years?
I've always had trouble answering this question. Because I guess I would call, so in the qualities that I was describing, I do like to learn new things. I am competitive, I'm restless, I like to learn new things, I like to engage in conversations. So my style with teams, I love to work with people. So one of the reasons I am in this job as CEO, or I've taken leadership roles away from practicing the 2 engineering degrees that I have, is because I feel that the collaboration process of working through and with people is much more meaningful to me. You create amazing output as a result of that. And so fundamentally, I would call myself a truth teller and a truth seeker. And that, I think, is hard in organizations. Particularly the bigger organizations, you learn, there's a lot of social cohesion in organizations. There's, we'll say collaboration, but it gets confused with, sort of like pre-aligning in meetings or showing up with a common point of view. The CEO getting kind of shades of truth as you kind of move through the layers and ranks. So you have to be good at anticipating that and understanding how you get through that. And one of the ways you can do it is staying a little bit hands-on. Don't lose your curiosity. Don't lose the touch of, learning new skills. And yeah, just stay humble and keep learning, I guess.